Welcome back to the 6th and final episode in this series where I see if I can beat Final Fantasy VII using a class system.
Death!
On the last episode we took a deep dive into Claude's psyche and learned some truths about who Claude really is and saved him from becoming a vegetable. So now the gang is all back together again and it's time to finally put a stop to SEPHIROTH. Nothing is getting in Claude's way and the first thing we need to do is equip him with the contain materia, which just so happens to be some of my favourite materia in this game. And the reason for that is that it's just a very powerful black magic spell that also has an additional effect. So freeze can often sometimes paralyze the enemy, and you learn tornado and all these other crazy cool elemental spells that you can't usually cast. And you can see there we've also paired it with the added cut materia, so every time he uses this spell he also throws out a normal attack with his weapon, which is awesome. It just means extra damage. So Claude is now a damage dealing machine, but it is very expensive. 82 MP is definitely not on the cheap side. So now it's time to do some item hunting, preparing for the final battle, and Claude here is an absolutely amazing pianist. And strutting our piano skills earns Claude the final limit break for Tofu, which is Final Heaven. So we will definitely be utilising Tofu in the final battle. She is incredibly strong at this moment in time. And then we head back to the Bone Village to collect the Sector 5 key, which allows us to go back to Midgar, which is awesome. We haven't been there since Disc 1, so let's see what's been happening in Midgar recently, shall we?
Hello.
Steve? Steve, is that you?
Hi.
Oh. Did you guys just see a Steve here? They're pretty. Okay, good. Great, thanks for the help. But coming back here earns us the Premium Heart, which is Tofu's final weapon, but it's not her strongest weapon. There's actually one better than that, which is coming up very shortly. And here we are. We now have to get in this submarine to find the huge materia, because we're still on a quest for huge materia. That's an important thing that we need, as it may give us some power to stop the meteor from coming down and destroying the world. But we know that one is underwater somewhere, and Shinra's after it, and we're after it, so they're like, hold up a second, you've got to fight this bad boy crane thing, my bobby. And this is one of the harder boss battles in this game, simply because these arms deal a lot of damage, and he just has a lot of attacks that can harm us. But luckily we have the Bahamut summon from Claude. I believe this is Neo Bahamut, and I love the ridiculousness of these games. The summons just get like progressively more crazy, and when we get to the final battle later, it just goes into pure insanity. We all know what happens with Supernova, so look forward to that, because that's something to look forward to, I suppose. And here we have his arm grab thing, and this is quite a problematic attack because it kind of renders one of our characters useless, which is a little bit sad. But yeah, I'm just using everybody's summons. Just because it does AoE damage to everyone, it's like, you might as well do it. But yeah, in doing so, it's also harmed Tofu. But she's okay, she's a strong gal, so she can take it. And we've destroyed one of the arms, so there's just one left, and then 24,000 HP worth to get through on the main body. But yeah, look at my guys, they're pretty tough. I'm using Bolt Free. Because this guy is a robot, I just assume that electricity would damage him the best. And it's also a lot cheaper than freezes, and we don't have much MP, so I try not to use the contain materia too often if I don't have to. It's just there for like an added boost. But we are now working on the second arm of the carry armor. That's his name, carry armor, because he carries you and he's armored like a robot is. Very clever. As you can see, Yuffie is pretty weak. We only really use her because she can steal some nice items, but her damage output is pretty terrible. Luckily, she has Leviathan as well, which can deal some damage, and she also has haste, which gives her some utility, but you know, she's not the most useful for just damage sake. Tofu and Claude are much more well equipped for this. You can see the difference in power level is quite it's quite obvious at this moment in time, you know. I never actually used the throw command, and it's because like I never know what each weapon does. It doesn't really tell you what each weapon is, and I would hate to accidentally throw a weapon that I want to use. And the items in this game end up becoming a bit of a mess, because when you're selling things, it doesn't really tell you what the stats of the weapon it is you're selling is. So you're like, oh, is this the piece of armor that gives me double on my materia growth? I don't know, because it doesn't tell me. I just have to like memorize the names, and that's ridiculous. Another useful thing about Goofy though is that she can use the Clear Tranquil to heal us back up, which is always very, very handy. And that is the carry armor out of the way. He is now dead. And it earns us the God Hand, and this here is the best weapon in the game. It has perfect accuracy, which means when we use Death Blow, it never ever misses, which is crazy. Slightly less damage than her ultimate weapon, but it ends up dealing a lot more damage thanks to this Death Blow hack. So I'm showing this off now. I've attached it to the HP Absorb materia, so she can now do critical damage and heal up a bit of HP, which as you can see there is very, very effective. And then, oh no, panic, panic, help! We're stuck in this submarine and we don't know what to do. Oh god, we're gonna have to chase down Shinra. There's gonna be this epic colliding of submarines and missiles. I cannot wait to play this minigame. It's gonna be insane. Here we go. Not quite the epic chase. Ah, there is the enemy. Take that. Take my missiles. Are they hitting? Oh, there's another one. Oh, and he fired at us. Oh, the missile just disappeared. Maybe I need to go for the orange one. Is that what I need to do? I don't know. It's just automatically. Oh. Yeah, we did it. So good. Okay, great, that's over then. We pick up the huge materia and then we swim around to find the key to the ancients, and then we head into this waterfall here where we learn a bit of backstory for our boy Sparkle D. So this is one of those side quests that are completely missable, and if you do miss it, you miss out on a bit of lore to do with D man Sparkle.
Yes.
And it turns out he was acquainted with this lady named Lucretia, who just so happened to be the birth mother of Sephiroth. Yes, although it was Genova who had her cells infused into Sephiroth, there had to be a vessel to carry this epic beast. And so they chose this lady called Lucretia, and Sparkle was her partner, and then she died giving birth, or so that we thought. She's actually stuck here behind this waterfall. And in learning this bit of lore, it kind of fleshes out Sparkle and, you know, gives us a reason why he's actually with us, because he's been kind of silent since we got him. He kind of hinted that he knew of Sephiroth, but now we're actually learning how and why he knows about Sephiroth. And it's a cool bit of lore. The fact that this is completely missable in the game is kind of crazy, because it's kind of a big thing, right? The birth mother of Sephiroth. But if you never pick up Sparkle or you never go to this waterfall, you would never know that. So that's nice that we know that now. And what's also nice is that we pick up Sparkle D's ultimate weapon and his final limit break. We then pick up the Steel as Well materia, which we can give to Goofy, and this comes in very handy later on. So here we are in the sunken ship. This is probably the hardest area of the game. The enemies in this area are certainly no joke. They have a lot of HP, they deal a lot of damage, and they can just do a lot of stuff. So I'm showing that to you here now. We actually have a bit of a challenge in this challenge run. Would you bloody believe it? So yeah, he absorbs Bolt, as you can see. Did not know that. Now I do. That's good to know. And over 1,000 damage there with one of his magic spells, which is crazy. And then that creepy touch is an automatic counter attack that he does, which gives us sadness, which is annoying. It means we can't rely on our limit breaks. And a physical attack there takes Sparkle D down. And Sparkle is definitely one of our least defensive characters, so it's no surprise, but he is in the back row, and I decided to use Phoenix Flame here, which is perfect because it can revive Sparkle D and also deal some fire damage, and it restores him back to full health, which is lovely. But yeah, physical hit there takes Tofu down to almost half HP, so it's definitely a little bit tricky, but the rewards in this area are unbelievable. So I'm going to show you another battle here just because I feel like I haven't shown you much difficulty in this challenge run thus far. So now we have like deformed Cradley here with a spiky tentacle weird pincer looking dude, and this guy can do some crazy stuff. He confuses our poor gal Tofu and she kicks herself in the face, which is a bit of a problem because she does a lot of damage, especially with this Death Blow and HP Absorb materia she has now. She is just cranking out damage, and as you can see there, that attack he did on Cloud almost killed him, but luckily he survives on 55 HP, ready to use a Meteor Rain, and this is a mega powerful limit break that attacks multiple times and luckily kills him. But the reward for that is the double cut materia, which is incredible. This it can be given to mid, and allows him to attack twice, which is epic. It basically just doubles his strength, which is madness. So here we are against Reno and Rude for the second to last time, and I go ahead and use Big Guard with Caitlyn here, as we always do, simply because it just sets us up very well for the rest of the fight. And yeah, these guys are not too difficult. 20,000 and 15,000 HP is not too big an ask to get through. I'm just smacking Yuffie in the face so that we can get rid of the confusion. And then they land the confusion again onto Caitlyn. If they go for Claude, it's okay because he has a ribbon, but the other guys do not have a ribbon, so we do have to deal with confusion. Luckily, Yuffie and Caitlyn do not have a very strong physical attack, so even if they do get confused, it's not the end of the world. Plus the Big Guard helping them protect against it means we're pretty good. And as you can see, I'm struggling to steal the items from Reno and Rude, and I could have used the steal as well materia on one of my summons to steal from both of them, but I don't. I do end up doing that in a later fight, but for this boss battle I did not think to do such a thing, and I actually end up trying to steal from Caitlyn. That's not very nice. Caitlyn's supposed to be your friend, so to repay the attempt at theft, we just smack her in the face and poison her, because Caitlyn ain't no joke. You mess with Caitlyn, she will poison you. She's a dangerous lady toy person thing. We stole the tough ring, that's great, so now we can just like smack Reno until he's dead, and we can focus our stealing efforts onto Rude now. Yeah, these guys are not too tough. Luckily, the only bad thing they can do is the confusion, and I'm not too worried about that. Eventually though, we do steal the XIII armor, which is a really nice armor piece, and we can get multiple of these because there is a later boss battle against Reno and Rude again, and then a third one after that, so we can get 3 of this incredible armor, which is very nice. And yeah, we're just using all the powerful spells, Trine, Freeze, all of that to just try and get these guys down. It's fairly slow, but I'm very confident that we can get the job done, simply because their damage output is nothing compared to the enemies that are just in this area. They're definitely a lot stronger than these guys. And yes, I'm going to use Magic Breath here now. It's a bit more expensive than Trine, but you can see there the damage output is very high. And Rude is actually frozen. That is a secondary effect of using Freeze. It can actually freeze the enemy, so it deals massive damage. Can only target one person, but it also has these additional effects. So yeah, we're just kind of chilling, sitting here waiting because we can really. And the reward for this fight and going through the end of this sunken ship is the Hades materia, which we can give to Caitlyn, and we give it an added effect materia onto her weapon so that she can cause sleep and poison on enemies when she attacks them, which is fabulous. So the next huge materia we need to track down is actually on Mid's rocket, but Shinra have a plan to blast the rocket off into the meteor, and we're all stuck on there, which means Mid can finally live his dream of going to space. Yes, that wraps up his storyline, which is lovely. We get to see that his dreams do eventually come true, and we get this epic FMV where the rocket finally gets to blast off, and everybody's happy, except for the fact that we are actually blasting into a giant meteor and are about to die. So what is our party to do? Well, we are going to pick up the huge materia first, and then we are going to run down to the escape pods, but oh no, Mid's leg is stuck and he's about to die. But hold up, She-Ra is here to save the day. She has atoned for her sins. And how does Mid repay her? Stupid. So absolutely no character development for Mid then. He just starts the game an asshole and ends the game an asshole. So that's great. We're now on the escape pod and we can finally return back to Earth again while the rocket continues its journey to crash into the meteor and hopefully save the day. Maybe this will be the end of the game here. We just need this rocket to pierce the meteor, blow it up mid-sky, and then everybody can live happily ever after. So the rocket does actually make it to the meteor. We get a huge explosion and everyone from Earth is watching like, yes, this is it. This is it. It's finally happening. The world is saved. Ah, congratulations. We don't need to beat SEPHIROTH. We don't need to do anything. We just need to get rid of the meteor and everything will be fine. So nobody is dead, which is a good sign. And then when we look up back into space again, all it has done is pierced a hole through it and caused it to crack and look even scarier than it did before. So it's going to take a lot more than just a puny little rocket to destroy this meteor. So No progress has been made, everything is still the way it was, the world is still about to end, and the impending doom is starting to become more and more frantic. The people of the world that is Final Fantasy VII are starting to panic even more, so our party needs to do something quickly. But before we do anything, we need to grab Neo Bahamut, and we get this by collecting all of the huge materia, and this is a mega powerful summon that we can give to our summoner dragoon boy, Mr. Mid. So now Mid actually has some decent materia on him, double cut, long range, and the Neo Bahamut. And as you can see here, this is like one of the craziest summons ever. If you thought the last Bahamut was wild, check out this one. This one flies to space.
Yeah, when it zooms out and then she shoots the earth with a laser and the whole earth blows up, but somehow you only did 10 damage. I feel like, bitch, the whole earth just blew up.
Come on, Sephiroth.
I just watched the entire earth blow up. What you mean 5 damage? Why all these motherfuckers ain't dead?
Ah, the ancient writing on this mural. Can you read it? It's all Greek to me. Greek, as in the language spoken in Greece, the country that belongs on Earth and not Final Fantasy VII world? Are you saying there are Greek people in this land? Where is Greece? Where is Greece on this world map? I don't see it. But now it's time for a trip to the movies, and as if we weren't traumatized enough from this journey, we're watching the best movie ever. The movie where our ex-girlfriend dies, and we get to witness it again, because that's really what we want at this moment in time. But it is actually very important. Luckily there was a cameraman recording this entire thing, and he managed to capture footage of this little ball falling out of Steve's hair. And it just so happens to be the white materia, the materia that is capable of performing Holy, which can stop the meteor from crashing into Earth. So we need to find it, because as soon as we activate this, we will save the world. And before we save the world, Godzilla is on its way to fight Midgar, so we slowly wait for it to wander over to the beach, and then it is time to destroy it. And this guy's a little bit different. This is the diamond weapon, not the Ultima weapon, which we fought previously. And this guy's pretty powerful, and he's also immune to physical damage. So luckily we have Caitlyn here to do some lovely high damage spells, such as Trine. And we also have Goofy here to cast haste on us and steal some lovely items. Also, Claude has his amazing freeze and tornado and bolt techniques, which can all be used to damage this guy, which is pretty nice, right? We've got a lot to get through this episode, and this guy barely does anything. He starts this countdown, but luckily we destroy him before he ever even gets to perform whatever the countdown was counting down to. It goes to 3, and he closes up and dies. So nice and easy fight that gains us tons and tons of experience and PP points. We're leveling up all the material, all the levels, everything's going nuts. With all this power and strength, I think it is time to finally put an end to Shinra. So we're going to parachute our way into Midgar. This is another epic moment. The last few hurdles of this game, they really amp up the awesomeness, and the threat of danger becomes much more imminent. And we get loads of crazy cool cutscenes like this, where we get to see the entire party falling from the sky into Midgar, the place where it all began. Finally returning, having learned so much and grown so much. Now is our time to put a stop to this evil corporation. We are ready. So here we are with the final boss battle against Reno, Rude, and Elena has joined this time around. But these guys are fairly weak, so I'm not too worried about damage, but they do have a fairly sizable HP pool, so there's a lot to go through, but we ain't struggling too much. Now, I've equipped the Steel as well materia onto Chocomog here, simply because we've leveled up this materia a ton, so we can use it multiple times, and it doesn't do too much damage, so there's no threat of accidentally killing them in the process. And as you can see there, we couldn't steal something, but then we also stole a ring, and then we didn't steal the third item. So it's a good way of stealing multiple things from all the targets, and I wish I utilised this a bit more, but hey, it at least comes in very handy with this fight. We don't have to worry about over damaging them and accidentally killing one before we've stolen the item, because we can just do it all in one turn, which is lovely. I say these guys are super weak. Goofy is struggling a little bit, but luckily she can be healed up by our good gal pal Tofu. And yeah, I swapped Caitlyn out because we didn't really need any of her magical spells. And honestly, Tofu is just like the most powerful one of all of the characters. Probably more powerful than Claude, I would say. And Claude is like a few levels above her and has just been, you know, an MVP the entire way through. But Tofu has just like skyrocketed into the overpowered realm, and she comes in super handy later on, and I'm just using her as much as possible because she's just awesome. I love Tofu as a character. She's just like super cool. I love her design. I love the way she just kicks the shit out of people. It's kind of epic, it's kind of cool, and it's kind of radical. So yeah, now that we've stolen the items we need to, I'm just going through and casting slow and other things. I never usually use slow, I don't really see the point in it, but you know, as there's 3 enemies on screen and slow hits all of them, I'm like, you know what, I might as well. We get more turns in, means we have to worry less. But yeah, Claude's magic is absolutely insane now. He does so much damage with his contain materia. Of course, the downside is that it costs a lot of MP, and Claude doesn't have a way to reliably recover his MP. But, you know, I'm not too mad. We're usually close enough to a save point that we can just like dump all of our MP on the bosses and then use a tent to restore our MP again. So yeah, during normal battles I don't really use any of Claude's magical techniques. I save them all for the boss battles so we can just dump every crazy spell that we have on them and deal as much damage as is humanly possible. I'm glad that they've kind of spiked the difficulty a bit towards the end, because the mid-game of this journey that we've been on has been very easy, and I feel like they kind of dial up the difficulty towards the end, simply because you can do a lot of side quests and things like that that make the game a lot easier because there's a lot of grinding involved, and I haven't really done many of the side quests in the end game, mainly because I just don't want to be super overpowered. It does mean that we miss out on a lot of crazy good items, like I'm pretty sure I don't get the W magic materia, which I could have given to Red, and it's just because I didn't want to do the side quests involved, because they're time consuming, they're long, and they would overpower us, and I want there to be some challenge for the final boss battle, so that's why I don't grind, that's why I don't do most of these side quests. But that is that down, and then we grab the W item materia, which we can immediately give to Bart here, and then we grab Caitlyn's final weapon until we reach this guy, the Proud Clod.
Huh?
Sorry, what? This thing is called the Proud Clod, as in my main boy Clod? Is this his proud version? Is he like trying to intimidate me by being like, yo, I'm like you, Claude, but I'm proud. I'm a proper robot. You're just a little experiment boy who's gone wrong. And that's a weird coincidence. I had no idea this guy was called Proud Claude, and I just so happened to name my character Claude. Interesting. Really interesting.
Wow, that is very interesting. Please tell me more.
So this is Proud Claude, and Proud Claude sure does pack a punch. 60,000 HP is nothing to sniff at. It is quite a large number, but luckily we are using some of our more powerful characters right now. Tofu is there to do the big damage, and Bart is there just simply to protect us, because I know this guy can deal a lot of damage, so I need someone like Bart to protect me, because that's what he does, right? He is the protector, you know? Our relationship may not have worked out the way I had hoped, but he'll still be there for me. He will always be there to protect me from this big proud Clod man robot thing. Where Shinra was hiding this robot and why they are just like using it on the streets of Midgar at this moment in time, I have no idea. Are there civilians watching this? Are they freaked out? Are they scared? Or like, is the impending doom of the meteor kind of distracting them right now? Probably, but I've skipped forward ahead a bit from this boss battle, simply because it's not too challenging, to be honest. We get through it quite easily, but he can switch forms, as you're about to witness here, and he does so very slowly. He just kind of like backs up, and it's like, oh god, he's about to do something. And now he's pointing his head cannon right at our face. So it's getting a little bit scary, and I'm like, okay, gotta kill him quick. Hopefully we have the chops to do it. And turns out we definitely do. He goes down quite shortly after this, thanks to the death blow from Tofu. And that's Mr. Proud Clod down, and we get a contain level up, so now we have all of the spells for contain, and then we also learn one of Bart's final limit breaks, which is incredible. And now it's finally time to put an end to Hojo. Hojo is like low-key the villain of this entire game. He's maybe even more threatening than Sephiroth. He's kind of like the cause of Sephiroth, and there's no limits to his craziness. He will do anything to you know, test his scientific limits to its limits. Did that make sense? Absolutely not. Here he has his little friends, Tentacle McGee and Tentacle Magoo. I'll let you decide which is which. And they're not too scary. I start attacking them only to realise that like there's literally no point. You just want to go for Hojo, because as soon as Hojo is dead, the other two will die with him. But I didn't know that at first, so I started going for the little friends. Tentacle McGee and Tentacle Magoo, that's what they're called. 13,000 HP is very small, especially after Proud Clod and his 60,000. So I'm like, easy peasy, but obviously not. This game is not going to let me just get away with a simple boss battle like this, and especially someone like Hojo, he's obviously going to be way more powerful than we expect. So you're about to see Flare in a second, and that is the magical spell that we just learned after we leveled up Contain. It's the final one. It does massive damage, but it is extremely expensive. But you're about to see the power of Flare coming up right now. He charges it up, and then it bursts into flame, and then, yeah, 5,600 damage, plus the 1,600 from the physical attack. Means that Clod is just, like, unbelievably powerful. Like, just insane amounts of damage here and there. Not as big as Ultima is from Sparkle Semicolon D, but it's still pretty good damage. But obviously Sparkle Semicolon D's Ultima can affect every single enemy, but it does cost a bit more, but then he also recovers the MP with his MP Absorb. So yeah, Tofu, Clod and Sparkle Semicolon D are definitely the strongest two. Free, I suppose. And Bart isn't, but like his utility is so good. Like you just saw there, he went to attack Clod and only did 200 damage to Bart, which is nuts, you know? Bart can just protect us all day long, and we only have single target healing from Tofu, but if Bart is protecting us all the time, we won't need to heal all of our characters, we'll just need to heal him. So this is a pretty good party setup. And it just so happens to be the guys we started our journey with, you know? I do think these two are my favourites, and Clod as well. But in terms of like party members you get to choose, I do tend to usually pick Bart and Tofu. Maybe it's just because you start the game with them, but I just feel, I don't know, I feel a certain way about them. They've been there the entire time. They're great friends to Clod. They have very cool designs. They fit the vibe so well. Like these three look like they belong together in a group, you know what I mean? Whereas someone like Caitlyn or you know, Goofy, they don't really look like they belong in our group. Not to discriminate, you know, everybody's welcome. That's what this game's all about, right? It's about accepting your otherness, and you know, these are definitely a strange bunch of people. I didn't speak at all about the second form of Hojo, but it had 3 parts to it. We destroyed them all, you know, job done. And now we have his final version, where he has turned into a ghoulish snake monster thing. Kind of reminds me of that alien from Ben 10, the one who used to go into technology. Do you remember? I'll put a clip in, I'm sure. Weird reference, I know, but Ben 10 was awesome. Ben 10 was like the shit when I was younger, you know. If you watch Ben 10, you were one of the cool kids, or at least in my mind you were, and I would at least pretend I was. So if I believe I was a cool kid, then surely I was. That's how that works, right? We're just restoring up the barriers of everyone, but it hadn't completely depleted, so I ended up just wasting an M barrier. If I'd just waited like 0.5 of a second longer, it would have gone off, but that's okay. And yeah, we're just using our most damage dealing stuff. And our MP does run out fairly quickly, but I'm fine with that. I'm just going to use Turbo Ethers. I've got the W item materia now with Bart. So, you know, I'm not too afraid to use my items at this point. I never usually use items in these games because I'm scared of using them, but I'm aware that I'm getting towards the end of the game. And if my characters need a potion or an E-file or anything, I'm going to give it to them because they deserve it. You see that? I just used an X potion because, you know, I don't care. I'm a changed man. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to progress. I'm trying to be better. And using items is a way to be better, you know? My team is just so powerful. Like, I am not scared at all, you know? I was not scared that entire time. And now he's dead. And Hojo's supposed to be a pretty big boss battle, so here we are though now. It is the final battle. It is time to make the preparations. So, Clod instructs everybody to go back to their loved ones and tell them that this may be the last time that they will ever be on this earth again because they might die soon. So everybody goes off, but then, what's that? Tofu's still here. And Clod's like, Tofu, aren't you going home? And she's like, well, didn't you forget? I'm all alone. I don't have anywhere to go. And that's right, Tofu's bar, the only place that she could call home, was destroyed in the Sector 7 Mako reactor explosion. So Tofu has nothing. All she has really is Clod. and Claude has no one either. And I think this is where it's solidified in Claude's mind that Tofu is actually the gal for him. Like, she clearly just cares a lot about him. They both have nothing but each other, and they find comfort in each other. And there's something very beautiful about this moment and this scene. I like that it comes in right at the end. We don't see these two sort of in love for the entirety of this game. It all very much happens towards the end when the stakes get raised. And I don't know, it's a beautiful moment. It's nice to see that these two have found some sort of like home in each other. And knowing that if they get out of this, they will be together for a while is also very nice to hear. Yeah, love Claude and Tofu. I ship them, but when I played this game originally, I always saw them two together, and I'm glad that that's the direction it went in. Now that the gang is back together again, nobody decided to jump out last minute. We are all in it to win it. So the only thing left to do now is to stop Sephiroth. So, going with a party of Caitlyn and Tofu to get us through, and the battles here are insane. But check out Tofu's limit break now. As you can see, she has gained quite a few throughout our journey, and she just deals massive damage. Like, you saw that there, 5,666 damage. And she does a bunch of these all in a row. There is nothing that even compares to the damage that she can do. Honestly, love Tofu so much. She is the best. I will never ever leave her. She is the one for me. But now, Sparkle, I'm going to send you down to the bottom of the screen there. Thank you very much. You are going to go that way. Love you very, very much, Mr. Sparkle. Ah, and Goofy, right, you also go down that way. That'd be great. Caitlyn, could you also go down that way? Yep, that's great. Thank you very much. Bart, love you, Bart. You're going to head downwards as well. That's nice for you. And Tofu, you go the other way. She may be the love of my life, but she's also a tough gal. So, you know, I think she can handle it by herself. Anyway, we all group up again, stuff happens, we go through a cave, and then here we are against the final Jenova form. This is Jenova uterus, maybe? I don't know. It looks like an egg. You know, you get those diagrams of the inside of a womb, the inner mechanisms of a woman. It looks like that, one of those little floating alien egg things. You can tell I'm gay because I have no idea what to call them. Either way, this is kind of challenging because there's 3 parts to it. But honestly, the Jenova fights are all kind of like lame, and this one is no exception, but it does look cool. I will say that the character designs and the enemy designs in particular in this game are really, really cool to me. I love that they're just not afraid to go there and be grotesque and sexual and weird and strange and alien and freakish, you know? It's the first time this series really went there for me, and this is kind of a staple in their newer games now. They're not afraid to be wacky, but this one, like, took the wackiness to a new level. The creativity was just like off the chain, you know. But yeah, we've killed one tentacle, we're just working our way on the other one, and again I'm using Bart and Tofu, and I think I'm gonna stick with these 3 for the rest of the game, simply because like they're my mains, you know. I've been in a relationship with both of them, and they've stuck by me through thick and thin. You know, there's a lot of loyalty with these two, and all joking aside, like, these two are just the best characters in the game, in my opinion. So, like, obviously I want to use them in the end. It probably would have been better to swap Bart out for Caitlyn, as Caitlyn, or maybe even Sparkle semicolon D, just because everything that Bart can do, Caitlyn can do, but better. And Sparkle just has, like, crazy damage. But, you know, it wouldn't be... But I had such a journey with Bart that, like, I can't leave him behind. I want him to be there till the end. I want him to see me thriving and defeating Sephiroth, you know. I want him to see what he's been missing, I suppose. But yes, as you can see, both tentacles are down, and Jenova's all like, oh no, I'm just an egg now, what am I gonna do? And we're running out of MP very quickly because we're using Contain like it's nobody's business. And then the countdown starts to start. Okay, this is where I'm starting to get a bit scared, because I'm like, it's been a while since I played this game. I don't know what this countdown will be doing. So I need to restore Mr. Clod's MP very, very quickly. So I chuck a Turbo Ether at him, and then the W item allows me to use a secondary item. So I put an Ether onto Bart. I didn't really need it, but you know, I have the W item, so I might as well, right? A final flare from Clod takes Jenova out, and then there's only one thing stopping us now, and that is Sephiroth. Obviously, I've missed a ton of items and things that I could have got. But, you know, I just want to get the game done. I don't want it to be too easy. And as you can see by the amount of levels we're getting from that Jenova fight, we're pretty underpowered. You know, we're not supposed to be this weak towards the end of the game. Or we can be, because the final boss kind of scales to our level anyway. but I like that there's a bit more of a challenge now. It's not as easy. So here we are. The earth beneath us is crumbling. We're being sucked into some trippy, situation where Sephiroth is taking us on a journey through the Mako energy, and things are about to get real. So, final fight now, and we get to pick 2 parties. So for my second party, I'm going with Mid, Caitlyn, and Sparkle. Sorry to Goofy and Green, you guys are just like not very strong at this moment in time. Mid is kind of a replacement for Claude, he's just high damage. Sparkle obviously has Ultima and loads of high magic spells, and then Caitlyn can defend us and heal us and do all of that lovely stuff. So I'm feeling really confident. We got Claude, Bart and Tofu, followed by Sparkle, Caitlyn and Mid. So, feeling pretty strong. The 6 of us are going in to fight, while Goofy and Green go and untuck in the Interior Illusions Lounge. Love that. So, you actually don't need to swap parties at all. It's very possible to defeat this boss battle just using 1 party of 3. But I love these characters so much, and this is the last time we're ever going to get to see them shine. So I do swap parties every now and then, and I'm just going to use my most powerful attacks to get this done. Starting off with all of our crazy cool summons. So here we go, Neo Bahamut time. This guy doesn't go to space, he just sort of like floats above the clouds, shoots his big beam at him, deals a lot of damage. There's lots of things you can attack. So things that target multiple enemies is the way to go. And summons just do that. They're big damaging things that damage everything, and everything is dying around us, all the different components. And then we switch over to my other party. Hello. So let's see what these guys can do, shall we? So obviously I'm going to start off with an Ultima. It is just like, a mega powerful attack, and I'm curious to see how much damage it does. What does late game Sparkle semicolon D with super high magic, Ultima, MP drain? What can he do? So Ultima comes out, and over 6,000 on all of the enemies is pretty incredible if you ask me, and about the same damage as Neo Bahamut, which is kind of epic, and then you're about to see a Bahamut Zero come out. No, actually you're seeing Hades first. I'm just using all of the summons. I know that these guys aren't going to be in the final fight, so I'm like, hey, while I've got them, I'm just gonna, unload. They're not the strongest defensively, especially Caitlyn. You can see there, she's already on 1000 HP. So I can't just like sit here pretty and breeze through it. There's a lot of preparation that needs to be done. There is some strategy that needs doing. I need to make sure that our health is up there. And Caitlyn is our main healer, so if her health gets low, White Wind becomes kind of useless. So there is a bit of a pressure there. Of course we still have items, but we then switch back to our other party and then use Tofu's Limit Break to finish the job. And she's just going crazy, just like drop kicking, punching, slapping, all of that. And we get Mr. Sephiroth down. So, end of the game, right? What's that sound? Here he is, Safer Sephiroth, and playing now is the One-Winged Angel track. This is some serious shit. This is one of the... Right, how do I get into this? This boss battle is freaking incredible. The design of this, the background, the swirling pink clouds. You have this giant, handsome god with tentacles hanging down and wings everywhere. And like, it's equal parts beautiful, scary, and alien at the same time. And then the music. Where do I even begin with the music? One-Winged Angel is an absolute bop. This is one of those tracks that you remember, and it only comes up once at the end of the game, but everybody knows it. If you're a mild Final Fantasy fan, you've probably heard of Sephiroth, and you've probably heard the One-Winged Angel track. It's been remixed several times with different orchestras that play it, and it's just one of those tracks that's absolutely nuts. It really pushed the limits of what the PS1 was capable of, with the amount of instruments and vocals and all of this crazy stuff. There's actually vocals in this game, it's in the music, and that's crazy. Fuck knows what they're actually saying. But it sounds cool as hell. There's something that lends itself, or opera and classical music in general, just lends itself very well to games and movies. In my opinion, if you're ever trying to heighten something, if you ever want something to feel epic, listen to some classical music and like integrate that into the art that you make, because it just like heightens absolutely everything. Yeah, so the boss battle. SEPHIROTH does tons of damage, as you are seeing, and this is his big attack, Supernova, and this has to be the most ridiculous attack in the entire franchise, maybe of any game ever. The fact that he summons a meteor from space and goes through every single planet, not in order as well, it's in completely random orders, so this thing is like darting around the universe, and then it blows up the sun, and then somehow, even though it's bigger than the sun, goes behind him, crashes into our party, and doesn't kill them. It actually can't kill them. It's like, what was that? The whole point of this game is to stop a meteor crashing down onto Earth. And here SEPHIROTH is summoning something larger than the sun to destroy us, and somehow we don't die, but the planet is going to die by a really tiny meteor. Make it make sense, and actually don't make it make sense. I don't want my Final Fantasy games to make sense. I want silly, ridiculous, over-the-top craziness, and it's what I love about this franchise so much, and it's what makes it so special to me. And it's what makes it so camp. I feel like camp culture is all about, you know, extravagance, over-the-topness, being so ridiculously past the realms of reality that it just becomes camp and silly and ridiculous, but iconic in a way. And that's exactly what this is, you know? And I don't think that was their intention either. I feel like maybe I'm kind of silly looking at everything through a queer lens, but hey, I'm a queer person. I naturally just do that. And the fact that it's unintentional, that this game is so inherently queer, and the way that everything is designed is so queer-coded, is, I don't know, it just gives me a deeper appreciation for it. And especially the fact that it probably isn't meant to be that way. There's just something I love about media in general, is that there's so many different interpretations you can have on it. There's not one answer to it. People can play this game and, you know, listen to stories, watch stories, read books, and gain a different insight depending on the person you are and the mind that you have. And that's why we all love consuming media so much. It forces us to think, it forces us to reflect, it forces us to challenge what we think, you know? How many times have you been to a movie with a friend and come out and been like, oh my god, that was incredible, and they're going, that was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, how could you enjoy that? And you're like, were we watching the same thing? But it was just the eyes that were different, it was just the brain that was different. The media itself never changes, but the way we see it does. I know this is sounding way too deep for something that is just a game, but it's the final boss battle, you know I've got to take it there. But anyway, that's enough of the hippy-dippy bullshit. Let's get into the fight a bit more. And this fight, I wrote boss's HP a lot because I don't actually know how much HP he has, because he scales depending on how strong your party is. It's impossible to know how much HP he actually has, but he has a lot, and this boss does not joke around. He deals insane amounts of damage, he has a lot of HP, he can fly up in the air and stop you from being able to reach him, but luckily we have Bart who can, and our magical spells can. And I'm using things like Mega Elixirs just to recover all of my HP and MP, because I haven't really used them yet, and this is the last battle, so I'm using everything in my arsenal to get the job done. Luckily Bart and, well, just Bart is here to give us some barriers. If I had Caitlyn in the group, I would have just used her Mega Barrier attack, whatever it's called, Mighty Guard, that's the one, and that would have given us haste, it would have given us Barrier and M Barrier. But, you know, I had to have my boy Bart here, so if it wasn't enough that SEPHIROTH destroyed all the planets to kill us, he decides to do it again. So the planets have just built themselves back again after being destroyed, and then SEPHIROTH comes and destroys them all again, you know, because that's possible. I like to see that this is all happening sort of in a dream state, like this isn't happening on Earth, this isn't happening in the world of Final Fantasy. We're somewhere else, I don't know where we are, but we're somewhere that defies logic, clearly. But yeah, what is actually happening is real, but maybe it isn't. Maybe SEPHIROTH doesn't even exist after all, because like, where are they actually? They're just standing in clouds. Maybe none of this is real, you know? I don't know, there's so many ways you can look at this. Like, what is actually happening here? How did SEPHIROTH become this? Where are we? And how is what we're doing going to change anything? I don't know. But yes, here we are seeing Tofu's Limit Break about to come out, and I desperately need this. I was getting quite scared at this point. I was like, I don't want to die here and have to redo everything all over again. Luckily, we get a very good timed Limit Break from Tofu, and we are just chucking damage out there. I don't know how much that did total, But it clearly did a lot, and we need that desperately. The only big damaging thing we have aside from that is, you know, Claude's flare with attack, and that does nowhere near as much as her limit break does. So we really need Tofu more than ever now, and she keeps dying, and that's not good. So I quickly revive her. She just does a lot. She also has Phoenix as one of her summons, so she can even like revive other party members. Her HP is massive. She's got a load of MP as well. It's like, what can Tofu not do, you know? She really is the MVP of the game. I do think she came out on top above all the other characters, and I didn't expect that, to be honest. I expected Caitlyn to do well, I expected Sparkle to be strong, but I never saw the Tofu carry coming. I thought she'd be good early game, and then she would just sort of fall off for somebody like Mid, or even Claude, you know? But she's managed to stay consistently great the entire time. Yeah, that Shadow Flare attack is absolutely nuts. It just wiped out Tofu again. Yikes. You can see there Bart's limit break didn't even do as much as one of Tofu's slots did. So we really need her to stay alive, because every time she dies her limit break goes back down to 0. So it's imperative that she stays alive. It's critical. And she can look after herself. She has, you know, ways to recover her own HP. She has high damage. She's got good defense. But Safer Sephiroth is just so strong, and we haven't grinded at all. We haven't got all of the special crazy items that could have helped us. And you're starting to see where maybe this challenge run is slightly challenging, because usually at this point in the game I could have just stacked up all the most powerful materia on my 3 characters and been fine. But we are limited to what I have set out for these characters to have. And hey, if 2 supernovas weren't enough, here's a 3rd, but we're going to skip this one because you've seen it several times. Obviously we don't die because this attack cannot kill us, but hey, it sure did look badass while it was happening. I think it just sort of like cuts us down to like as low HP as it possibly can. But yeah, this time it also inflicted a load of status effects on us, which is not very good. And of course, Bart in his confusion hits Claude, and it's like, damn. I wanted to just use a meteor rain, because I'm like, surely he must be nearly dead. That attack came out and nearly killed us. I was like, ugh. Luckily we got the regen out on Claude, because I genuinely think if we didn't have regen, that attack there would have killed us and it would have been game over. So we were insanely lucky that that didn't happen. So everybody's back up now. Bart is still silenced, but I'm like, I don't care. It is time to end this fight. We've been at it for like quite a long time now, and I use finishing touches instead of Meteor Rain, silly. Like, Meteor Rain obviously is going to deal more damage. And then we get another death blowout, and he's still alive. He's not dying, and I'm like, damn, how much HP does this guy have? Grenade Bomb is something that we can now use from Bart, but we've already seen that that just doesn't do very much damage at all. So although everything is recovered and we're looking pretty healthy, I'm still scared because I know that this guy can just like chop us down whenever he needs to. So you can't get too comfortable in the Safer Sephiroth fight. You can never just be like, I got this, I know what I'm doing. You do have to take precautions a lot, and you know, every time you see him doing something, you want to kind of stop and think, okay, is this gonna kill me? And if there's a chance that it can, you gotta put a stop to it, man. You just gotta do it. We're casting Flare again, hoping that this will be the last time. Then all of a sudden, what's happening? Oh my god, he's having a crazy anime death. The lines are shooting out of him. Safer Sephiroth is finally defeated. Claude, Bart and Tofu have done it. In fact, everybody done it. We all did it together. You guys too. You came along on this journey and you helped defeat Sephiroth and save the world. And isn't that a great feeling? Don't we all love saving the world? Because I certainly do. And of course he has a very dramatic death where like he pixelates and little particles get slowly sucked away into the void, and everybody can rest easy now knowing that Sephiroth has gone. There's still more work to be done, but the main enemy, the main goal has been achieved. But wait a minute, what's this? We're Doctor Who style, travelling through the TARDIS, going through the live stream, and we come out onto the other side, and there's Claude in full FMV glory, and he looks really good there. You know, some of the cutscenes look a bit crazy, but these character models look really, really sharp, you know, for the time. And turns out Sephiroth is still alive, and it's time for the final showdown. It's just Claude and Sephiroth and no one else. We've beaten his trippy, weird alter ego, and now it's nothing but 2 men and their giant ass swords. So, Omni Slash, a limit break that we don't even have yet, is just given to us. And Claude, using all of his might and strength, and all of his friends by his side, chopping, slicing, dashing, crashing, bashing, slapping, crapping, frapping, dapping, and grapping, and flappity bappity wappity bappity sclapping in, squibbity bibbity bibbity bubba boobity bibba bubba skibbida sklam. Sephiroth is finally dead. I love how much they dragged this out. There could have just been like a boss battle and he goes, oh no, you've defeated me. But would it really be Final Fantasy if it did that? No, it wouldn't. We need 5 or 6 deaths where he explodes and, you know, combusts into multiple particles. And hey, we got that. And finally, this is Claude being thanked by the live stream, I suppose. I don't know what's really going on. But now here's the ending. And I'll be honest, the ending of this game is kind of weak. You do all of this fighting, all of this preparation, trying to get Holy off, and then Holy just doesn't work. And it's like, oh damn, we did all that and, you know, we're still going to lose? That's not satisfying. But then at the last minute, this little green stream emerges from the ground, and the planet itself, the live stream, starts gushing out of the earth, protecting itself and stopping the meteor. So realistically, did we even need to do anything? Like, would that not have just happened anyway? Would the presence of Sephiroth being alive have, you know, stopped the live streams from emerging from the ground and saving the planet? I don't know. I guess it would, because he was trying to prevent it, and without him there, the planet could heal itself, and everything is great, and everything is fine. But I'm going to start to wrap this up now, guys, and playing this game again has been an absolute joy. Like, I remember this game being good, but I don't remember it being this good. Like, this is such an epic and incredible story. I really wish I could play the remake, just to witness it in, you know, HD. I've seen clips of it, but like, I would love to explore it again in, you know, the crazy cool high definition graphics. But I think this is enough, honestly. Like, the PS1 version still holds up to this day, in my opinion. I know it doesn't look amazing in comparison to what we have nowadays, but there's something so special about it, there's something so charming about it. The characters are so beautiful, the story itself is deep and complex and dark and mysterious, and there's just so much to talk about with this game. There's so much lore, there's so much to explore. All that rhymed. And I'm just very grateful I got to play it on my channel, and I'm so grateful for everybody for watching it. Apologies, this series has been a bit of a mess in terms of my upload schedule. I'm going to America again for 3 months. So I've been doing a lot of preparing for that. I've also been writing a sitcom that I'm going to be bringing to life. So I've just like put my hands in a lot of pies. Is that a phrase? I don't know. My hands are everywhere. I take on a lot, and I've let YouTube slip because I just have lots of other things I want to do as well. It's hard to do everything, and I want to do everything, but I am human. But yeah, because I am going to America for a few months, this channel will unfortunately be dead for the summer months, so from June, July, August, and potentially into September. But I will be back, don't worry, and I'm going to rethink how I do this YouTube thing, because I want to deliver better content than I've been delivering recently, and I you know, you guys deserve it. I do enjoy doing YouTube. I just need to find a way to make it fit around my life, and find a way that I really still enjoy it as well, because it was starting to become less enjoyable when it started to feel like work, and I don't want it to feel like work. If you are a member of my channel, I do recommend just ending your membership for the foreseeable future. If you want to still support me, you can. I'd be very grateful for that. But I also cannot deliver on the content provided because I just won't be in the country. I won't have my laptop, I won't be able to play games, I won't be able to do anything for the next 3 months. So there's no point in being a member to my channel. Please stop if you want to save your money. Of course, if you want to support, you are welcome to, but not expected at all. Special shout out to my Jamly members: Hugo, Robbie Rose, Jury Lynn, Francis Coldon, Automatic Jellyfish 853, Calcor, Fikujez, Secundus 666, and super duper ultra special shout out to my Super Jams, Panis Pusher, Alexander Lazilla, Soul Eyed, Jack B N, Persephiroth, and Docs Bateso. You guys are absolutely incredible. I cannot thank you enough for your support. And to everybody who just subscribes and watches my content, thank you for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for being a part of the Jamily. But that's all from me, folks. This was Can You Beat Final Fantasy VII using a class system. Thank you for joining me on the journey. My name has been Jamsack. See you guys next time.